So what do you do when a project goes bad? As you can see, there's some big chunks out of this particular piece of wood. What do? Well, in this case, I ended up in an X-ray. I think there's something else we can do with this piece of wood. First, I had to get rid of the bad stuff, the damaged rim, the hole that won't hold it anymore. Going to have to reestablish the hole for the worm screw. Use the tailstock to try to get it to run true. Let's see how it's doing. Looks like it's running pretty true. Now let's get rid of some of that bad stuff. Get it back to a blank that I can use. First, let's get rid of that rim. Flatten out the base a bit. Okay, now I can re-establish the hole for my worm screw. Once that's done, I can flip it around and hold it with the worm screw. Now I have to get rid of that big old chunk missing from the outside. Oh, and of course, re-establish the base to hold it in my chuck later. When it flew out of the chuck, it was damaged, so I have to make it clean and usable again. As you can see, there's still a little piece left missing, so cut a little bit more out. There we go. Now I'll see if I can find a shape I'm happy with. And of course, the ubiquitous sanding. I decided I thought I would dye this wood. Excuse me. So, start out with the dark colors. I use primary colors. Blue first. Dye the entire surface. As Le Corbusier said, the three most beautiful colors are the primary colors. Just like he said, the three most beautiful shapes are the primary shapes: triangle, square, and circle. Three most beautiful colors are red, blue, and yellow. Now, I'm sanding away most of the color. I'm going to leave it dark towards the top, but I'm working for an ombre effect. So I'm going to dye this again with red. Dye the whole thing. I'm using alcohol dyes, thinned about 50-50 with thinned with denatured alcohol. To get it to dry a little quicker, I'll set the thing afire, but it Doesn't hurt anything. It burns off the alcohol fairly quickly. You can see it doesn't even scorch the wood underneath. Sand most of that off. We'll leave a little bit of the red up towards the top. Again, working for that ombre effect. And then we dye the whole thing yellow. A little bit more sanding so it gets to a point where I'm happy with the colors. Remember, as you're finishing this, the colors will run a little bit. You'll see in this first pass with the CA glue that it picks up some of the color, and of course in that instance it's also spreading it around. This wood is so absorbent I decided just to pour some of the CA glue on there. But when you use that much CA glue, it gets pretty darn hot. I'm not using any special effects here. It was so hot, it melted a hole in my gloves. And of course, you can see the fumes coming off it. Make sure you're using CA glue in this quantity in a well-ventilated space. Now, the process for doing a CA glue finish typically is just to put a few drops on a paper towel and rub it across the surface of the piece many times. See there, I'm using a little of the accelerator. I will use it if it seems it's like getting sticky, but I won't use it as a final coat. It tends to cloud the coat, so always make sure you have at least one or two more coats after you use the accelerator. Now a little abrasive paste to polish it up. That looks nice. Okay, now we flip this thing around and we'll hollow out the inside. Use the tailstock again to help make sure it's running true. Now this is where I got in trouble last time. This wood is very picky. It seems to stutter a lot. And I was getting some stutters at the beginning. But as I got deeper, it seemed to get worse. In the end, I decided pull cuts were probably the best thing I could use to hollow it out. Or scraping cuts. Whatever. Once I get it hollowed out, I switch over to the scraper, try to smooth it out a little bit. Even that was catching. In the end, I decided to reverse the lathe and work on it from the other side so I could see it a little better and angle the scraper a bit to reduce the likelihood of a catch. And it seemed to work pretty well. And back to sanding. Apply some super glue, CA glue, to the inside as a finish as well. Doesn't work particularly well for large pieces, but this one was so small I thought I could get away with it. I noticed when I stopped it there was a decent sized chip in the rim, so I have to take back the rim just a little bit to get rid of that chip. And I'll resurface it afterwards. sanding, CA glue, the whole thing. There we go. Chip all gone. And back to the abrasive paste. Smooth out the inside a bit. Okay, I'll put it on the cold jaw so I can remove the tenon from the bottom. Take it down a little bit at a time. Nice easy cuts. Don't want it to fly off the lathe yet again. And switch over to a little detail spindle gouge to take that last bit off. Looks pretty good. A little sanding and CA glue, and I think we'll be all right. Ooh. Look at that. Looks nice. So a couple of weeks ago, I was making a pine bowl, and the tool slipped and caught, and the bowl flew off the lathe. I injured my left hand pretty good. I thought I had even broken it. I went to the doctor, and they x-rayed it, but thank goodness it was only soft tissue damage. So I was going to throw it in the burn pile, to be honest. But this is my redemption video. This is Pine Bowl Gone Bad Redux. This is if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Dang, that feels good. Leave a comment if you like it. I'll put up some stills at the end. Thanks for watching.